We're happy tonight, walking in a
Winterzwickl wonderland. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, today we're taking a look at yet another Christmas beer, and yet another German Christmas beer, no less. This one is from Hofbräu, and I'll be honest, I've been dreading the pronunciation on this, but I think it is Hofbrau's Winterzwickl. That may or may not be correct, I've got no idea. I'll probably avoid saying it for the rest of the video, but anyway, it is Hofbrau's Winterzwickl. It is a Winterzwickl, whatever that actually means, I'm not really sure, but it sounds absolutely fantastic. It is rocking in at, while we hunt around for the ABV, 5.5%. I have never had this before or anything with the word Zwickl written on it, so I've got no idea what to expect with this one. But anyway, before we get into it, here's a quick look at the bottle. It's typically Hofbrau, very nice. It's got the little track marks you can see there from the German recycling program. If you're wondering why the bottle looks a little bit shabby, that is why, but never mind. It's a great thing actually, just being able to get a few pennies back for all your used beer bottles. Can't do that here in the UK sadly, but nevertheless a fantastic looking thing. Oh, it's a dark beer. Oh, now I'm happy. Look at that, I'm getting Dunkel vibes from this. And I've overcooked it. Okay, I did get a little bit excited with the pour, and there is some still left in the bottle, but it looks absolutely fantastic. If I hold it up to the light, slightly murky, I think it's fair to say. Kind of brown, red hues, a bit of amber, a bit of orange. It almost looks like a red ale when you hold it up to the light, but if you take it away and into the shadows, it's deep, dark, rich, almost kind of porter territory. But yeah, I'm getting strong Dunkel vibes on this. Good amount of carbonation in the glass by the looks of things. Beautiful foamy kind of toffee coloured head on it. It looks the business. I have to say it looks the business, and that head is going nowhere. So we'll top it up a little bit later and we'll get right into it. For now, aroma time then. Oh, big, heavy, toffee, vanilla, chocolate. I'll tell you what it's reminding me of. Thornton's chocolate covered toffee pieces. Like, it is that through and through. You do get a bit, obviously, of the beery elements. There's a bit of hot bitterness kicking around in the background. There is a little bit of that distinctly German yeast profile, but yeah, this is proving to be a treat already. I can tell that the aroma is just, it's soft, it's sweet, but it's not sickly, it's not cloying, and it just has this kind of winter warmer vibe about it. It feels absolutely spot on for the season. Of course, I mean, yet again, with some more Christmas clothing. This one is my decked out VW for Christmas. Mine doesn't look quite as good as that, but never mind. But yeah, this is, smelling absolutely magnificent. Really excited for this one now. Let's get into it. Cheers. Merry Christmas. I might have to move to Germany. This is me in a beer through and through. So, first off, I need to say it before everyone gets too excited, or at least I get too excited, and say, look, this is me down to a T, almost to the extremes. Not everyone will like this, but this is playing to my preferences like a fiddle. I am very, very happy right now. Super malty, super rich, yet still drinkable, balanced, and I've got this little and a bit of aftertaste that is still kicking around in there. It's slightly bitter, but it's super roasty. It's not quite smoked malt roast, but kind of think burnt caramel char. Like, oh yes, this is absolutely a bit of me through and through. I need to go in for another sip because this is an event right here. This is the best of both worlds, right? This starts off as a nice, deep, rich, bready but refreshing lager. And then it tails out into something much more bold, much more sweet, much more festive. And you end up feeling like you could drink loads of it because it's not too heavy all of the time, but it feels like an event. It feels like something really sturdy, solid and indulgent because of what happens towards the back of it. And yeah, it's It's a right treat. Right then, let me top this up real quick. I mean, just look at that. That is a sight to behold. A glorious looking thing. Time for a top to bottom taste test. So, initially, right on the front of the tongue, a tiny hint of what's to come later. There's this kind of slightly roasty but really mild, like I think really mild coffee, to the point where like you can tell that's a intense thing normally, but it's been really dialed back. Kind of that, it's almost coffee but not quite on the front of the tongue is the best thing it can give you. Decent combination. Mouthfeel is, well, it's proper Dunkel territory, so yeah, absolutely spot on. Over the first third of the tongue, as I said before, proper lager territory. Kind of halfway house between, say, a Helles and a Fest beer. It's quite bready, it's quite rich, but it's also showing some of the mineral through, and it's ultimately refreshing, but it's still carrying that slightly deeper, darker, richer edge on with it. Not much to talk about other than that. Mid-palate though, everything starts to wake up a little bit. That toffee, burnt caramel comes in, leaps and bounds. It's big, it's sweet, but again, it's not sickly, it's not cloying, it's those flavours without the sugariness of them, which is kind of weird because that's all they are, but that is what I'm experiencing, which of course leads in to the back of the tongue where the whole thing really starts to come together completely. Sweetness dies off, rich, bitter, slightly burnt kind of, cinder toffee, toasted marshmallow, toasted caramel, all those kind of things. There's a slightly savoury edge to all of the sweetness, so also like almost a bit salted caramel vibes in places. But yeah, that kind of, just that roast, it's pure roast. Like we talk about roasty beers and, dark beers being roasty, coffee, everything else. And they are those things, but sometimes they lack the longevity, the staying power that like a truly heavily roasted food would have on your palate. It'd stick around for a long time. You could still taste it for minutes and even hours afterwards sometimes. Whereas beers that do that tend to be there for 30 seconds to a minute and then kind of dissipate and it's all gone and you don't really remember what you were drinking. This though, this has got that staying power, and you can tell even before you've experienced that duration, it's not intense, it's not over the top, it's not difficult, it's just there, and it's absolutely lovely as a result. On to the finish then. You get nice refreshing spritz actually, a bit lagery, bready malt again, as it starts to settle down. There's not a burning but a slight tingle all the way around the back of the tongue and in the throat. More cinder toffee notes, a bit of coffee, and it's just, yeah, a few rich chocolatey tones in there as well perhaps. I feel like I can taste the malt at every kind of level. There's inevitably going to be some light and some dark malt actually that goes into this, and I can taste those light bready ones, those kind of mid toasty, kind of somewhere between Maltese or an Ovaltine if you're in the UK and you know what that is, and then onto those darker, richer, roasty, toasty coffee vibes. Also, I don't think the malt in this is that dark or severely toasted actually, because what happens a lot of the time is you end up with kind of rich coffee, espresso and licorice notes when you get that really dark roast blend. Whereas this, it never quite gets that far, but it manages to do an awful lot with a few lower down. And that would also be indicated by the visual on it. I know it probably looks quite dark on camera, but I can't see through it, but it's certainly not a properly dark beer. It's just kind of somewhere in the middle. It's almost a slightly darker American red ale for reference, but yeah, it is absolutely stunning. Now, full disclosure, as I said, this will not be for everyone. If you like big, heavily roasty or malty beers, then you're probably going to love it like me. If you're here for the hop party, you're probably going to be disappointed. There isn't a great deal of hop to talk about. Most of the bitterness, I think, just comes from that darker malt bill, and yeah, it's not really a hop showcase in any way whatsoever. But if you want something bready, indulgent, but ultimately easy drinking, it's 5.5%. We're kind of still in session territory. Okay, it's a little high for that, but ultimately, a couple of these aren't going to be too bad. And I mean, yeah, if you like the sound of those flavours I listed off, I think you're going to absolutely love it, because it is an absolutely stellar brew. I feel like this has been a quick review because, well, I've just been like, yes, it's all absolutely fantastic. Let's take a quick look at the bottle though before we wrap this up to see if we can learn anything else. It says Hofbrau Munchen, Hofbrau Winterzwickl. In fact, I never really showed you the spelling. It's that. Winterzwickl, I think. Naturtrub, I don't know what that means. They are brewed according to the Reinheitsgebot, of course, the German beer purity law. The rest of it on the back is in German, and I can't make much sense of any of it, sadly. But I can tell you the ingredients, unsurprisingly, as a result of that purity law, are water, malts, hops, and yeast. So no surprises there. But if you're into your German beer and you want something that feels like, you know, a big, nice bready lager, but a bit more special, a bit more warming, a bit more winter, that is an absolutely stunning way to go about it. And as with the previous video, I bought 2 of these. Well, with that one, I was happy that I bought 2. With this one, I'm really disappointed that I only bought 2, because it's just a stunner. I could drink that all day long. Absolutely fantastic. And that really is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already subscribed, if you will be so kind. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers. Merry Christmas.